Hey guys, Angie here to recap the main event of UFC 301. Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Erceg for the flyweight title. Unfortunately, Astro Boy fell a little short. It was really close, very competitive fight, much of what I predicted, but it just wasn't quite enough on Astro Boy's part. However, I was a little bit hopeful actually that the judges might score it on damage because I thought that was the thing nowadays, but apparently not. So a bit of a shame that the Brazilians didn't want to include the damage, but even still, I think that might have brought it to a draw or maybe a split decision either way. I think Alexandre Pantoja did maybe just enough to win. Maybe not quite enough input on Erceg's side and a few game plan decisions that maybe lost him a few points. It's always a shame when you see someone who's younger who gets disappointed like that, because I think when you're younger you just expect everything to turn out even if you don't do your absolute best, whereas when you have someone really experienced and who's been through a lot of disappointments and hardships in their life like Pantoja, they learn from those little failures and mistakes and disadvantages, and that makes them not take a second for granted. And that was really kind of what this fight was about in the end, I think, because I think skill-wise Astro Boy could have beaten Pantoja. Maybe a little bit more urgency I think would have won him this fight. Even with the damage, like I said, I just don't know whether it was quite enough. It could have been if the judging was consistent. If everyone was, judging the same thing, then maybe. But it was just those little seconds that really lost Erceg this fight. And I don't think he should beat himself up about it, even though he is disappointed. He will learn from this. But I think when you've been a young gun that's just buzzsawing through all these contenders, then you get to the belt very quickly. I think you just think it's all going to fall into place. And it feels that way, that narrative is built that way. And then you go through a massive disappointment. I think it's going to be a hard one for Erceg to get over, but I think he will get over it. It's just going to take a bit of time for him to get over this and learn from, that's a benefit of being older, is that you realize you have to fail to learn. And I know he knows that. That's probably not how he feels though. I mean, fighters know better. They've got the toughest lives, the toughest jobs. But I think sometimes it's hard not to react to things emotionally, especially with something so emotional as this. So there's nothing really to be disappointed with. He could have made some better, decisions in the fight, but next time he will, because he knows that he can't take any seconds for granted. For Erceg, I don't really think it was the last round in the last few moments that really lost him the fight at all. I think it was more that he could have just been a little busier. But Pantoja, he knows that he can't allow any of that to happen. And even though Erceg, I thought, landed the harder shots, I think Pantoja was busy enough to steal those rounds. I don't know, it's just such a hard fight to score, but I think Pantoja just did a little bit more. But more than anything, I think it was also the body language. Erceg looked like he was a little bit demoralized. Like he acted as if he didn't have a chance to win that fight. But if he had acted like he could have had a chance, or that he did win the fight, it could have had an impression on the judges. You never know. His corner didn't really do a great job in amping him up. I think his corner might have demoralized him even more, because they've got to give him a bit of hope or a bit of injection of possibility, or that pep talk that he needed. There was none of that was shown on the broadcast. Maybe I missed something, and I mean, it's hard for me to say because I didn't actually hear everything that the corner was saying, but the energy in the corner felt that way on the broadcast. I mean, what do you expect going up against the best in the world? To do that great is an accomplishment in itself, but I think it always sucks when you lose in these title fights. Title fights, I think when you try for the title and you fail the first time, I think the second time becomes a lot harder because you've failed once and you have that to deal with mentally. So I think this is going to be a tough challenge for Erceg to build from, but I think it'll make him a much better fighter. And if he can get over the disappointment side, I think he'll be on a good path. But it's a tough one to deal with. When you lose a title shot the first time, it only gets harder. And that's another reason why I'm pretty much giving Dustin zero chance of beating Islam. Maybe 99% chance of not beating him. And credit to Pantoja, he knows how to compose himself even more so than Erceg. He's just had that experience and learned from his failures and that's pretty much what won him this fight. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say on this fight. I would have liked to see a little bit more recognition for Erceg and the damage that he inflicted on Pantoja. But little things like working on body language, I think, can win or lose fights. So it doesn't matter. He'll build from this. He's had an amazing career so far, and it's only going to build on that. Yeah, for Pantoja, maybe fight. I don't know if Makayev's ready after watching this. Maybe he is. Maybe he'll be more intense in the grappling. Maybe he's grappling, like the strength of the wrestling will be more effective against Pantoja. But I'm not really too confident in that. But maybe that'll be good for Pantoja to rack up the defenses, title defenses. For Erceg, maybe take some time off. Don't fight at Perth, but you could fight someone like even Kai Kara France. So that will be full on. Yeah, he just needs time off. Yeah, that's all I have to really say on that fight. The rightful guy won. Pantoja is a really good champion, and he's the kind of champion that I think the world needs. So, and for Erceg, he's just going to build from this and get even better. It's not going to be easy though, but I know he can do it. The co-main event, Jose Aldo looked amazing. He really shown up, but I think Martinez respected him way too much, and he couldn't get going. I think he may have even been in awe of Jose, and but Aldo also looked really great. So that was great to see. Anthony Smith getting the upset with the submission over his opponent. Really good. Yeah, that's all I've got this week. Sorry guys, I'm really busy, but I'll be covering, even though I'm dreading it, the Islam and Poirier fight. Yeah, until then, take care and see you around the traps. All right, bye. It's okay. I might send this to Steve Erceg and see if it chews him up. He might want to rip it up though, but what do you think? It might make him feel a bit better. I like this work though, so I hope he doesn't chuck it out.